この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Dungeon Meshi's third episode, but we're actually going to whisk ourselves away off to the kitchen where I'm going to make the promised cookie recipe. Let's go there. Half a cup of packed brown sugar and a little bit of extra because I can't pack it all that well. Pow. And 1 full stick of salted butter. And we're going to heat that. And we're going to heat that on medium until this here thermometer says 300. And we want to keep a nice, even, medium, or a little bit lower heat. And keep stirring. And eventually incorporate all this sugar and butter together into a beautiful caramel. I'm going to prep out some parchment paper to pop it onto when it's done. But that's going to be a fucking while. This takes its time. And we got to be stirring it vigilantly the whole time. I wish you could actually see the numbers on the guy. It's so funny when doing this candy making process, every batch feels like it's finicky, like it's unique. They all follow similar properties, like it's going to heat up and start incorporating, and then it's going to sit around 260 to 270 degrees for a good while before suddenly the chemical reaction takes place and it bursts and shoots up to 300. But every time it sort of feels like a unique process, like a unique batch of candy that you have to watch particularly. I don't know that it would be very easy to automate this, just because there's so much finickiness to it. It's one of those parts of the process that really requires that human touch. So we're sitting at 236 right now, and we're getting all bubbly and nice. And at this point, I just want to keep it from like congealing on the sides and from the bottom getting too hot. So I want to keep mixing it, but not mixing it too much, because apparently if you mix too hard at this stage, it breaks the situation. I did that at one point, and my caramel broke, and all the butter flowed out of it once it cooled, which really sucked. So it's a balancing act of stirring enough, but not over stirring, and incorporating the stuff off the sides so that they don't become crystals that lead to more crystals. We're sitting at 246 on the thermometer. Okay, now we're at 270, and I think we're going to sit here for a little while. It gets this sort of foamy texture. Oh, we're up past it. We're past through 275, 277. It's moving fast. It's crazy. It's starting to smell really good, and I can see it starting to, like, brown. Now we have to be really careful, because if it gets too hot, it burns. 287, 289, 296, 297, and I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to drop it on the parchment. We can see that these very last bits are way darker. I'll show you in a second. Okay. So here's our beautiful guy, and you see these dark bits at the bottom here, how they're significant, and this one right here, those have almost burned. The milk solids have gone to darken, and that's how finicky this is. If you let it go, you can see just on the gradation on the spoon even how it's like light here on the back, and then there's that darkness on the tip. If you let it go even just a few seconds longer, it'll get this really off, acrid, burnt flavor. But I think we've managed it just perfectly. So I'm going to whisk this off into the fridge, and we'll be on to the other preparation parts. Oh, wondrous day, for I have access to a stand mixer, yay. Butter, egg, baking soda, 2/3 cup, and 2/3 cup, and vanilla, and salt. Okay, that's all our things. It's pretty weird, but cool. We got 1 1/3 cups of flour here, and I'm going to add to it 1/2 a teaspoon of baking soda, okay? And 1/2 a teaspoon of the biggest boy salt that you have, whether that's Malden, like flaky salt, or diamond crystal kosher or something even bigger, we want like a heaping half teaspoon. And you can modulate this a little bit. You can go a little bit less, do like just a flat half teaspoon. We want a half teaspoon of salt. Bam. And then we're going to mix that all up. And put it aside. Now we're going to take our stick of butter. This has been softened. It's been sitting outside overnight, but also for enough of the morning for it to actually be soft. See, it's soft. And I luckily get to toss that into a KitchenAid stand mixer to cream it with the sugars. If you have to do this by hand, that sucks, but you can do it with a wooden spoon and a lot of effort. Brown sugar. Okay, 2/3 cups brown sugar, packed, and half a cup of white sugar. I had to do 2/4. Okay, so we got our sugars, we got our flours, and we're ready to go. Gonna hook in this guy, pour in the sugars, mix. Alright, we're going to mix this together until they are nicely creamed together and all consistent and solid. My butter might be a little cold. That's okay, we'll give it time. And cut to this being done. Just going to put my hand on it for comfort. It's okay, buddy, you got it. Probably should have had the light on from the beginning. And that's just about creamed together. Look at that. Nice, consistent, goopy sugar butter. Oh, so delicious. I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm going to incorporate some of these bits that have gotten stuck, break these chunks up a little, and give it a little more time. First things first, chocolate. These are Ghirardelli Premium Baking Milk Chocolate Chips. I'm doing this because my partner really prefers milk chocolate to dark chocolate. If I were making these for myself, I'd be using the bittersweets. And I even get to mix a few bittersweets in to fill out this. A little bit more than a cup of chocolate chips. Just a little bit more than a cup is what I want. Okay, the butter brickle has had enough time to frigify, so I get to smash it into pieces. And I want all the pieces to be, I don't know, about the size of like a coin or smaller. Yeah. Ow. Mmm. Ow. 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 It sticks to my teeth so good. Oh my god. And we're only going to use about, I don't know, half or 2/3 of this. And keep the rest for, I don't know, treat toast. About a cup of chocolate chips. And about a cup of shattered, crunchy butter brickle. And we're just going to toss those into the dough. Bam. Bam. Oh yeah. Yes, there is about as much mix in as there is dough, and that's how I like it. And now we're going to mix it. This is much harder if you don't have a KitchenAid. Oh yeah. And maybe that's it. I just got to clean these guys off and bring them over here. Clean our bits of dough off the hook. Boom. And that is our cookie dough. So I'm just going to take it, wrap it up in parchment, make a little package, and throw it in the fridge. And then I'm going to make some tea and go record Dungeon Meshi. Okay, well, I've got to clean up in here a little bit, but at the end of the video, I'll throw some of these into the oven and bake them off and show you what they look like once they're yummy. See you in a bit. Okay, now that that dough is sitting in the fridge resting and all those flavors are congealing, we'd preferably love to leave that overnight, or for like 8 hours or so, but I'm going to leave it for the 25 minutes that it takes for me to watch this episode of Dungeon Meshi, and then a bit of the discussion afterward, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to bake off some of those cookies, so you can see what they actually look like, and I'll show them to you. But now I get to do my actual sort of intro for Dungeon Meshi. This is very weird because I've went and recorded that before I sat down here, so it's all out of time and space for me, and I usually don't do those things with my recordings. I don't exist in that editing space where stuff is all over the place and then it all comes together into one coherent mess. I don't know how to do that. I just say everything all at once and put that into a video because that's so much easier. So this kind of breaks my brain a little bit, and that's totally fine. Hi, welcome, how you doing? I hope everything's good. I'm here for Dungeon Meshi, episode 3. It should be really exciting. I'm comfortable doing this with this show because it's so chill.
It's so chill and cool and fun and enjoyable and good, and it's like I'm here for the vibes and I'm here for the experience, and I think you are too. And so I just want to bring that energy and reflect it back to you, and give you a big ol' smile, a bunch of joy at making some delicious food. And then watch these characters with big ol' smiles go and make some delicious food. And we're gonna get right into it and dive deeper into the dungeon. I don't know what to expect in this next episode except cool food and weird monsters to fight. My favorite parts so far have been where Senshi or other characters weave dungeon monsters into nutrition and like science and stuff when we get almost infographics in anime space. I love those. I think that's so much fun and so cool, especially when it's information like library information about stuff that literally doesn't exist in our world. It creates such detail and such I love it. And I get to very proudly announce to you that I am beginning to DM again, and not just in the sense of like, oh, maybe at some point I'll be able to put together a party, but my partner has asked me straightforwardly to DM solo duet one on one, and I'm thrilled. I'm really happy to do it. And that means that suddenly, as has been the case before, everything that I watch is information for me to steal from. And Dungeon Meshi is maybe the best possible stuff in that vein, whether it's monsters or characters or side characters or weird quests or just story ideas or aesthetics or vibes. Those things are what I love to soak in and sponge in and then let out in whatever weird improv ends up happening at the table. And I'm really excited to be able to be a part of that again in one little capacity. Today's drawing. I have switched over to using Sakura Pigma Micron pens. I'm using O3s. That's pretty weird for me. I've mostly drawn in graphite for my whole life. There was one stint where I did some pen drawings on the channel for a little while, but I'm gonna try to like really get into it and really figure it out. This time I framed the ring of my coffee cup or my tea mug, which made a nice little moon for our little party of characters to have a little campfire under and celebrate under the stars. Lovely. I think that's my whole spiel here for Dun Meshi. Fuck. I think that's my whole spiel here for Dun Meshi. I just want to watch the next episode, so let's go ahead and dive on into it. I've got episode 3 of the MTBB version of Dungeon Meshi up and ready to go. And we're going to dive right in. There'll be 2 versions of this reaction, picture in the description, timer on YouTube, beep timer to count you down, and early access on the Patreon. Thank you so much for joining me. Stick around to the end where I will unveil cookies if they turned out okay. Hopefully they turned out okay and aren't a mess, and might even eat one on camera. Wow. Let's watch Dungeon Meshi episode 3. Thanks so much for joining me. Beep timer. I was thinking back and wondering at how many really brilliantly catchy anime OPs create so much more vibe for their show and are made by Bump of Chicken. It's a few. It's a few now, and I really like them. Someone has asked to sponsor these videos using the like dark elfish character who's in the back. I forget the name already, but so I'm going to put a sponsor thing together at the beginning of the videos. I want to make sure that I do it in a really concise way so it doesn't take attention from the video too much. And is really like simple. Work up an appetite. Oh, a wall. Secrets? Chill check? Oh, I love the shadows. Their faces. Really familiar beginning to the previous episode. Spooky. Yeah, wait, the wings. Wait, no, that's so much weirder. The... Oh, okay, no, it's like an add-on. Never mind. I was thinking it was some weird magic that had happened. He just likes it? I've been wondering about it. Gold peeling? Oh. Oh. Everybody's got to make a living. Oh, yeah, you're stuck. I see. But I don't see a skeleton inside it. Oh. Whoa. They're part of an order. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. No bones in it, huh? Yeah, that's not good. That's double not good. Get the other one to stab him? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's go, Laios. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, how did you get out of this situation? It was my first death. I'm figuring it out. Oh, God. What? Metallic? Okay, we're hitting the wall. We're hitting the wall. We're just like, Laios, you can't eat that. I'm sorry, man. You can't eat that. They're gonna... You can boil them. Yeah, there are other options here. But this is a revenge thing, huh? No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's revenge. Wait, no, I don't like this. Don't give up on your dreams, man. If you want to eat living armor, you can eat living armor, Laios. Don't let them tell you no. Oh. That was a really cool shot. There's so many like little cool shots that... Otto! Looks a little lamer this time. Let's go, Senshi. No sweat. Oh. 2. More than 2? wonderfully spooky. Oh, shit. His eyes, he's still watching them. He's so hungry for the armor. Laios, you gotta chill. Maybe it's because you don't have the sword? They sure are acting differently, though. Hmm. Hmm. I have no way to know. I'm trying to think if we're, like, making a false assumption here that it will become really obvious later. Like, maybe they just move on their own. No, I don't know. Hmm. Hmm. What am I gonna sneak past? Yeah. Huh. We really can't get the it's not alive part. How do they see and hear then? I wonder if it has to do with the sword. I don't know. This is such a fun little mystery. I love the contrast in the way that the armors versus the characters move. Sneak, my boy. Yes. Who lurks? Yummy. Yummy. Is that the master? Or is it the master's bodyguard? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I was going to make a leveled up version, it would look like that. Whoa! No. Fuck. The cycle continues. Can you steal its sword? Come on, Laios. Yeah. Oh, is that a goop? There's a goop. It's like an egg sack. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Animator, who are you? Is that creature controlling all the living armors to protect itself? That's really cool. So why do they look at you? There's something in them glued to the inside of them, controlling them? What? Yeah, and I can eat them. Okay, but what are they actually on the inside? Weird bug creatures? Hmm. What can you do? Maybe a colony of a bunch of spiders? Yeah, but her fire didn't roast them and toast them. Oh! Schleimu? Yeah, no, okay, he's thinking. I was thinking swarms, but like with threads? That's more like it. But so strong. Yeah, you gotta tear that mask off. Take that mask off. Who are you? Wait, what the? Gotcha. Oh shit. What's inside? Nothing. Or it's invisible? I don't know! The homies? Oh? It didn't... Oh. It's not connected. Oh. Inside? Ah! Oh, the muscles! Oh my god! Give me the head, give me the head. Otto! Gotcha. Gotcha. And we're gonna eat them like they're oysters. Oh my god. It gives that hydraulic effect. You forgot about his team. Oh shit. So did I. That's so funny. I gotta see the scene of them all running. He figured it out. Magic egg. This is gonna be gross. Wow. That's so cool. I mean, it's weird and gross. I love it. What a scene! Just like we do. The idea of a layered exoskeleton is really interesting. It means, do you understand? Especially if he can eat them. was really sweet of her. Usually she's not about it either. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're talking. Why not? How will we know? Yeah, how will we know unless we try? This delicious slimy goop, it'll be perfect. Yeah. Fair. Sure. It wouldn't need to. Why would it have evolved any other defensive mechanisms? It could be. It could be. Mm. Mm. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep. Find guts if there are any and remove them. And we transition to cooking time. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I gotta figure out what's in the guts. Yeah. Sure. There you go. Now we're talking. Sizzle, sizzle. Cooking pot? What though? Oh, okay. Oh, steamed mussels. That makes sense. Oh, in the half shell. Put some butter on that. Not bad. All right, I think it's doable. I don't think Marcel will want it. No thanks. Oh, yeah, she's gonna have the soup. That makes sense. Yo. Yeah, so are we gonna trust what you say? It's your privilege. Watch him. Make sure he doesn't fucking die. Is it delicious? I don't believe him. Maybe he'll be right. Maybe everybody else will be fine. Or maybe he just loves it. Let's go, Senshi. That might be the worst way. Oh. Oh, it's good. She doesn't want to admit it. It might be awful. I'm kind of expecting one of them to be terrible. Aww. Hey, the rest were delicious. And we learned a lot. You gotta have a fucking weirdo with you. That's the power. Nobody except Laios. Wait, do you think they formed the armor? It's the shell that they form? That's so fucking cool. Might be pairs of colonies of hermaphroditic living armor. Do you get a cool new sword too? It's such a cool symbol for him to carry around the sword of the living armor. Oh, hi, buddy. How about you don't, actually? It's mine. It's my best friend. Aww. He's gonna have a monster in his sword from here on out? Are you joking? Are you fucking kidding? Oh my god, that's so cool! The homie and the little homie! You stay safe, little buddy. Hi, little guy. What do you eat? The blood of your enemies? Talk about a sentient weapon. Holy shit. Fuck Black Razor. Get wrecked, sort of, Cass. I've got Goop Boy. Tell me that sword gets a name. Fuck. Mollusk. Fuck. What a freaking blast. That was so much fun. And I think this is the first episode that we've had that's been one plot line all the way through, to the point that there's no B plot here, and the episode isn't split in half. I think the previous episodes have all been pretty much split in half with two separate sections, two separate monsters or areas or things. And this episode also doesn't have an A plot, B plot format where we're focused on one thing but cutting away to something else. We're really coherently here the whole time, and focused in on living armors the whole time. And I think that the set of ideas that's present is wonderful. That they're a weird creature. Everybody assumes that they're magical, and this says something about a magical world. Everybody assumes that things that are inexplicable must be explained by the most obvious thing that explains things, when they could be any number of other things, right? We lose something. We lose some sense of some portion of our curiosity and our ability to find the real answers to questions when we assume that there's like a category of the inexplicable that we can just throw things into and say, well, it's magic. Magic did it. It's so interesting. I love that this hones in on an obvious but simple and just a character design aspect of Laios, but it stands out because Laios doesn't have any other aesthetic things on him. In my mind, Laios' room is a blank concrete cell, and I vibe. I fully vibe. Were it not for like putting stuff up in videos, my room would be entirely utilitarian. This is also not my room. This is somebody else's room. I'm here to be with my partner for a while. My room would be totally utilitarian. My armor would be totally utilitarian. I wouldn't want the designs and stuff all over it. And so there's a question raised by that, which is, why does he have wings on his sword? It's so interesting. It's like the one thing in I am standard human fighter and my sword is cool. Okay, why is the sword cool? What makes the sword cool? The sword's pretty cool, man. Why is the sword cool? Tell me about the fucking sword. It takes us to the third episode to tell us about the sword, which is right at the beginning. Bam. We know what we're doing here. Chekhov's fucking sword hilt wing thing pays off, and we fire that gun. I'm acclimating to the vibe of the way everything feels, the way the characters look, the intricacies of their movements, and how it's sort of like there are peaks and valleys in those intricacies. We go to pretty highly detailed for particular moments, like Chilchuck in the hallway with the shadows. There's a lot of detail on where those shadows are and how they move when he moves, or how they move when Laios shifts the lantern around. And that creates a real sense of like truthiness, like I'm there, I can hear it, I can feel it. There's an echo around me, so I'm in the space, and the sound design is all put together to make me really feel like I'm in the space. And then as sort of counterpoint to that, we get sequences where even if we're actually physically here with the characters, they're moving and speaking in such exaggerated ways that there's this great distance between them. And I think there are a couple of moments where it shows up where we have armor move really smoothly, and then characters move in very Trigger-esque, very Kaneda style, like very jumpy, very active, very cartoonish sorts of movements. And the gap, the distance between the way that the characters feel and the way that the objects around them, including the living armors, feel, is really distinct and really interesting. I think here where we try to get their attention is where it stands out the most, and it's the perfect scene for it because they're meant to be looming and scary, and we're doing something pretty freaking silly to get their attention, and then we're like running away, scampering away. And the way that we execute on that sequence is, all right, let's go. So we enter into this room of static armors all standing about doing random things. She enters in the most sketchy blah, 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 blah. You know, like if there's a sound effect for this scene of Marcial's animation, it's blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you freaking armors, come on, do your armor stuff. And they move and they're like perfectly smooth on one's feeling, even if it's not actually on one's, and I don't think it actually is. On one's feeling, smooth, perfectly coherent and consistent animation, where our characters are like, we're chaos monsters. Come get us! I think that this creates such a contrast and a textural difference, too. These flat, broad, big characters versus these very detailed, very texturally consistent. They're made of armor. The stones around us of these walls are ancient. The walls that Chilchuk is pressing the sword against tink, tink, and have a perfect sound to them. But our characters' clothes don't rustle. None of that is there. It's just cartoon for the characters, and so they're just so much larger than life, and they stand out so much against the backdrop of the dungeon itself. I think there's a real sense of joy that I get from that distinction, from that difference, from that kind of contrast and juxtaposition between our crazy characters and the world that they inhabit. And there's some sense over the course of it of like synthesis of like, as the episode goes on, as Laios comes to understand the dungeon more, the dungeon becomes more like real and we become more coherent and incorporated with it. I don't really know if that's actually intentionally in the thing. It's just a vibe that I get as we go from like, we're so crazy and these monsters are such monsters, to the point of like, no, they're just creatures. They make sense to us. And finally we end up consuming them and eating them and making them a part of our knowledge of the dungeon. It's really freaking cool. Okay. There are so many understated moments of like micro humor, like Laios's moving across the room and scampering against the walls is funny just because of how he moves. And I'm not even sure how to put it into words, how that movement ends up coming across as so funny. I guess it's like his eyeline drifts and he holds his eyeline too far. His body gets pulled to the side as though by a force that's not him, as though he's being pulled by a rope to the side. And then in this slightly wider shot, he sort of scampers and his arms like hang as though they're hanging on hinges. Boing boing, and then they kind of like boing. It gives him kind of like the hula girls that you set on your dashboard, and they kind of bobble, or like a bobblehead, or maybe even an action figure. He's animated throughout this almost as though he's an action figure being slid around. It's really cute and silly. It doesn't need to be there. It definitely took more effort than doing it any other way. I love it. I think it's so silly and fun. It adds flair to everything. It's one of the things that I really like about this anime so far is that there's an intent to make every scene as fun as it can be and to add things when possible. It's like directly in the face of and against the flood of like enshittification. Like, do less, pull back, characters move less, more flat faces with mouth flaps, like more panning shots where things just slide across the screen. Do less, more One Punch Man season 3. And here we've got Trigger being like, fuck that. This is a simple scene of a dungeon and a simple scene of a living armor, and we're going to make it fascinating. We're going to make it hilarious. We're going to infuse every aspect of it with character that comes from the character of the people creating it. It comes from the artists drawing it and wanting to infuse these characters with how they see them, how they feel like they are, and wanting to convey that to us. And when it all comes together, it really comes together. It's like mixing a bunch of pieces of an ingredient together to make something whole and beautiful and wonderful and delicious for other people to eat. And on that note, I should probably go throw some cookies in. So I'm going to go throw some cookies in. Okay, so I've got my chilled dough here, and it's beautiful. I'm going to break off these nice, like, palm-sized balls and put them on a little cookie sheet. I'm just going to make 6 right now. Okay, we're going to preheat this little oven to 350, and we're going to put them in for about 15 minutes. Usually a minute or two less than that is pretty good. And for a couple of these, I'm going to take a couple little chunks of that leftover Brickle and just situate them right in the tops there. Boom. I'm just going to do that on half of them. Okay, and in they go. I think I'm going to set this to 14 minutes, and I'm going to be back to spin them around about halfway through. All right, I've tossed those cookies into the oven, and they'll be good to go in about 14 minutes, but I'm going to go halfway and flip them. So what do we talk about for the next 7 minutes? I think we got to mention the couple of really standout animation sequences. There's some really cool stuff in the fight here, but it's the moment of our, like, flashback that's dramatically different from everything else and deeply familiar to me, but I'm not sure to what. Like, I know that I've seen whoever this animator is draw things, but what and where and in what context? I don't know. It's a really cool scene that takes us from this huge, wide, in these really simplistic colors, which reads as a really interesting way of doing memory. This reads as memory to us, or is meant to, and I really like it, but it's so different from most depictions of memory. I love how warpy and emotive everything is. It really does mirror memories. It's so focused on this object and so focused on the moment and the motion and the faces, like big expressions, and this crazy fisheye perspective. And then we loop in and we're looking at the dog. Wow. We're zooming around this space. Okay, who did that? Well, there's only one way to find out, and it probably won't work, but we're still going to go to Sakagaburu to find out. Oh, it's Kai Igarashi. Kai Igarashi. Going through, I'm seeing lots of cuts that I've seen before, but I'm trying to figure out where that aesthetic, where I've seen that before. Oh, throughout Little Witch. That's where. Gosh, really just creating a foundational aesthetic for... Really just creating a fundamental aesthetic for Trigger. Okay, that puts things in place a little bit better. That makes a lot of sense. What about some of these brilliant cuts of the armors moving and stuff? Oh, it's Sushio. I was noticing the three-dimensional smoke as well. They're really cool. They remind me of some of the cuts of smoke in, like, Redline, where it has such mass to it. Gosh, they're so weighty. Wow, okay, so that's all Sushio. And this portion of the flashback scene is Myon. And then all of the suits all moving together is Kano and Dang. Oh, and all the character movements in this whole sequence, too. Wow. This creates such an incredibly silly flow between these individual character by character scenes and then the weird things that glue them together, like the spinning, flying helmet. I really like it. It creates such a strange vibe for the episode. And then heavy corrections by Ikarashi on Artist Unknown for this whole sequence that I accented about, like, the characters being so chaotic and then the suits of armor being so stable and solid. So I guess these moments like Chilchuck jumping back, that has that like pure I can explode and become just color and lines sort of Ikarashi aesthetic. What fun! And it's woven all throughout the episode in such an interesting way, and leveraged every time that it appears. It's leveraged to create character movement. It's leveraged to make the characters stand out as mobile and animated and creative and silly. And it's always in juxtaposition to the armors being rigid and smooth and monstrous. It's really cool. I'm gonna go flip the cookies. We're halfway there. Whoa, gonna flip these cookies. And I'm also even gonna grab them. And I'm gonna go a little thwack, 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 thwack. Hell yeah. Okay, let's get back to the episode proper. I love how the mystery here is built. Clearly there's something unknown about the living armors, and I said at one point, I wonder if we're, like, making an assumption here that's going to be really obvious in hindsight. The assumption is that there's a magic user. The assumption is that there's no explanation for this thing. But what I love is that there's a bunch of detail, extra detail, put into the episode that serve as clues, and a bunch of extra detail that maybe isn't a clue. Like the wings falling off of his sword and stuff. Maybe that would affect the way the armors treat them, but it isn't. But there are a bunch of things that are clues. The way the armors put on their heads, the shots that we get from inside a little bit later, the feel of how they move, and how we watch Laios hold his eyes on watching them, even as he's being dragged out of the room. Yeah. It's putting on the helmet, and Laios is watching, and he notices, he watches. We focus in on the scene, and he watches, he's watching, he's observing, he's blinking, he's looking around. Our way is blocked! And then even as we're running, he's looking, he's watching. Everybody else is passing him by, but he's watching them move, and he's thinking. So I remember in this scene, I was like, Laios, get your head in the game. But his head is in the game. He's just playing a different game. Laios is interested in understanding these monsters, not just A to B, how do we get past them, how do we defeat them the most effectively, how many hit points do they have. He wants to know what they are, how their ecosystem works, how he can eat them. And it's absurd, and I think this is the perfect place to show that it's absurd. Everybody goes, you can't eat armor, and he goes, but what if you could? But maybe. But what if there's a different way? What if we're missing something? And that attitude of, what if I don't know everything, is the precise, perfect counterpoint to the magic explains everything thesis that we came to at sort of the beginning of our little discussion here. You've got magic as an option, magic explains it. The counterpoint and the way to avoid, everything just gets explained by magic, even if we don't understand it, even if that's wrong, is to go, what if we don't understand this? What if there's something that we're missing? What if it's different than that? And Laios embodies that attitude. Oh, what a powerful attitude. What if my assumptions are incorrect? There's so much character that I can't even imagine going through it. I think I would have to watch through the whole episode. And I think we've gotten to a point in Dun Meshi where it very clearly, that element stands out to me compared to a lot of the other shows that I watch. Because going through this, I'm following up, and it's like, oh wait, there's a lot of information in this silly scene of Laios moving. There's a lot of information in this misty moment when he enters this unknown back room place. And then when he finds the creature, the armor standing there, and it's in this brilliant shot of sunlight, it's like everything is built with intricacy and detail, and then animated with a layer of intricacy and detail that adds to it dramatically. And then it hits those peaks in animation quality, like this one that we know now is by Sushio, that drop us into rapid action and incredible moments of like, that's cool, fantasy, action, awesome, this is what we're here to watch. And then back it up with these brilliant characterizations and silly little moments and contrast. I love how it sort of, there's a harmony, there's a repetition, it rhymes with itself. Like Laios' experience here with this new statue harmonizes with his previous experience, with his memories, with everything that he knows. And he's able to bring all of that together to come up with the solution to the problem. And it solves the whole problem. I love the visualization of his different thought processes on it. Could it be a slime? Could it be a creature with long legs? I can really see this playing out in manga, and I could really see a version of this where it is not improved compared to the manga, where it being animated just serves to make a moving manga, and honestly, I would be better served by reading through the manga version. This is not that. We've added things, genuinely, via perspective, via animation, via the music, the sound, the feel, the sense of it. I'm gonna go check on the puppies and also the cookies.
Pa-da, 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 pa-da. Pa-da, pa-da, pa-ba, pa-ba. Yummy. Ooh. Yummy. Good, these gotten nice and gooey and chocolatey and flattened out. Great, I'm gonna let them firm up a little bit, and then I'll come eat one.
Oh, they look so good, but I've got to wait for them to cool just a little bit. There's this like feel that he runs into the light here. Oh yeah, we're fading the light on him as he runs. That's an interesting way of doing this. I feel like I would have preferred if it was more stark. But I guess it makes sense. It is a little strange that it fades on at a different rate than he runs. I really, really like how these two shots are connected, though. Like, he's running forward, cut away. We create the anticipation, hold, and then third cut, smash, and pull out. Really lands for me. I love in this moment that he grabs the helmet, that it's empty, and we reach sort of a despair. Like, oh shit, the one thing that I was sure of, wait, maybe it's not. And then it becomes less of a secret. Like, he starts to untangle it, and then everything becomes a lot less scary. And suddenly Laios is in charge. It's like telling us through the visual language and through the scenes that knowledge is the power. Understanding the thing transforms it from a scary monster to an opportunity. I think that's what this episode does more than anything else. It takes a dungeon mystery, and by making it the perfect dungeon mystery for Laios to solve, he's able to turn it from something that's incomprehensible, that's just a struggle, into something worthwhile for people. And I think that is very close to what science is for, and what like great inventors and creatives do. Is you take something that we view as a bit mysterious, uncomfortable, uncertain, dangerous, a phenomenon that can't be captured, and by capturing it, by figuring it out, by taking it from the realm of uncertain to the realm of certain, figuring out the rules around it, you turn it into a resource. Here's an example: electricity. In the before times, electricity is dangerous. It's lightning from the sky. It's scary. It's a strange thing that mostly doesn't exist, and when it does, it's uncapturable. But when you come to understand it, when you understand that you can wrap some wires around something and spin it, and it generates a bit of a current, it becomes a resource. One of the most powerful resources that has dramatically reshaped our world. Here, it's mollusk dungeon armor. But when we think, ooh, it's magic, it's the gods, it's beyond us, then we can't deal with it. It's just something to fight, just an obstacle. When we think, what is that? What could it be? What are we missing here? It can become a resource. A weird resource that maybe other people don't actually want to tap and actually eat, but no longer is it this scary thing that we don't know. That's really cool. I'm gonna get a cookie. Well, these are my chewy, gooey, sticky, crunchy, salty, sweet, salted toffee, chocolate chunk, caramel cookie things. And they're still a little bit too hot. Fuck. The caramel bits are like crispy on the outside and chewy in the center, and they like stick together. The ghirardelli chocolate is rich, and kind of creamy and satisfying. And the little bits of flaky salt throughout give it these bursts of saltiness that offset the sweet and buttery. And the whole thing is just like, oh, it's so Moorish, like kettle corn, you know? Well, feel free to follow along with the recipe, or you can grab it. I'll put a text version in the description. Fuck. And then you too can enjoy some insanely delicious, buttery, caramely, yummy cookies, and turn those into a resource for you too. Yay! This was such a fun episode, and I've had such a fun time trying to record all the different pieces of this, and eventually I'll weave them together. I love Laios's attitude toward things, and I really admire it. I think it's the way to, in a world where everything seems like it's kind of explained, you just have to dig a little bit under the surface to find out that a lot of our explanations aren't very good, and there's a lot of room for people with the right attitude to go out there into the wild world and figure out more about it. We need that. We need more people to question things the way that Laios does. So I really enjoy spending this piece of time alongside him and alongside these characters as they overcome this one little obstacle in a wonderful way that tells me so much about them and so much about how kind of I want to engage with the world and with questions and with mysteries. So I'll have another bite of delicious cookie, and I will say thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Done Meshi. I hope you've enjoyed it and enjoyed the cookie recipe and all that jazz. If you did, come get early access to the next week's episode on the Patreon. It's linked in the description. Or throw me $1 because you appreciate the content, and come join us in the Discord and talk about it. However you want to engage with this content and with Dungeon Meshi as a whole, I say thank you for engaging and for being and for loving and for eating, and I'll see you next week for more. Much love. Peace.